The rejection email arrived during dinner. I almost missed it, busy cutting Serenity's chicken into perfect bite-sized pieces while she complained about her latest headache. One quick glance at my phone screen was all it took to make my hands shake. We regret to inform you, my name is Jasmine, and I've spent 18 years being the responsible one, the capable one, the one who doesn't need help. That's what happens when your sister gets diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome at age 7. You learn to fade into the background. Everything okay, honey? Mom asked, not really looking up from adjusting Serenity's water glass. Stanford rejected me, I said quietly, my voice steady despite the hurricane in my chest. Dad grunted, fork scraping against his plate. Well, that's probably for the best. You wouldn't want to be that far from home anyway. Serenity needs you here. Of course. It always comes back to Serenity. I can help you with community college applications. Serenity perked up, suddenly energetic despite her supposed migraine. We could be study buddies. Wouldn't that be amazing? I forced a smile, the kind I perfected over years of family photos where I stood slightly out of frame. Yeah, amazing. You've always been so practical, Jasmine, Mom added, reaching across to pat Serenity's hand. Your sister needs someone level-headed nearby. Besides, those elite universities are more stress than they're worth. The conversation shifted back to Serenity's upcoming doctor's appointment, and I excused myself to clear the dishes. In the kitchen, I gripped the counter until my knuckles turned white. Something wasn't right. I'd maintained a 4.2 GPA while basically running our household. Perfect SAT scores, glowing recommendations. Stanford had been my dream since freshman year, and I'd done everything to make it happen. Need help with those dishes? Lana's text lit up my phone screen, our code for rescue me. Coming over to study, I called out, already grabbing my keys. Don't be too late, Mom shouted back. Serenity needs a ride to her tutor tomorrow morning. Lana was waiting on her front porch, one look at my face telling her everything she needed to know. Spill. Stanford rejected me, I said, dropping onto her porch swing. But that's not even the weird part. The email, it mentioned my application was incomplete. Incomplete? Lana frowned. You're the most organized person I know. You triple-checked everything. Exactly. I pulled out my phone, logging into Stanford's application portal. And look at this. Decision mailed 3 weeks ago. But I never got any mail from them. Lana's eyes narrowed. Your parents check the mail first, right? They always have. Dad says it's more efficient since he works from home. The words felt different now, heavier. They've been weird lately, too. Extra insistent about me staying local for college. Like how? Last week, Dad accidentally threw out my housing forms for UCLA. Mom keeps talking about how Serenity can't handle change. And yesterday, I swallowed hard. I overheard them talking about converting my bedroom into a home office once I settle into community college. Before you even applied? Lana sat up straighter. Jazz, something's seriously wrong here. My phone buzzed. Serenity asking when I'd be home to help with her English essay. Always needing, always taking. I have to know, I said, standing up. Dad keeps all the important mail in his office, in that locked filing cabinet. The one you've known the combination to since you were 12, because you organized their tax documents? Lana's smile turned sharp. Funny how they forget how capable you are when it's convenient. I checked the time. Dad would be driving Serenity to her evening therapy session. Mom would be taking her weekly bath, complete with lavender candles and noise-canceling headphones. Cover for me if they call, I asked Lana. Always. She squeezed my hand. But Jazz, whatever you find in there, be ready for it to hurt. The drive home felt longer than usual, my mind racing through years of small moments, the forgotten dance recitals, the college brochures that disappeared from my room, the way they always said I was so independent, like it was both a praise and a punishment. I parked in the empty driveway, my house key silent in the lock. The home office door creaked slightly as I pushed it open, moonlight streaming through the window onto Dad's pristine desk. The filing cabinet stood in the corner, organized alphabetically because I'd labeled everything myself last summer. My hands didn't shake as I input the combination. Serenity's birthday, of course. W for Welch, then J for Jasmine, then there it was, a thick envelope from Stanford University, postmarked 3 weeks ago, already opened. My heart stopped when I saw what was paperclipped to it. A withdrawal letter, dated 2 weeks ago, bearing my signature. A signature I had never made. My hands trembled as I pulled out the Stanford letter. Dear Ms. Welch, congratulations. We are pleased to offer you admission. The words blurred as tears threatened to spill. I'd actually gotten in, and they'd hidden it from me. The withdrawal letter felt wrong in my hands, like holding a venomous snake. The signature was close. They'd probably used one of my school permission slips as reference, but the loops were too perfect, too deliberate. Mom's handwriting, trying to be mine. Footsteps creaked downstairs. I froze. Jasmine, Mom's voice called up. Are you home? I quickly photographed both letters with my phone, returned them exactly as I'd found them, and closed the cabinet. In the bathroom, I shouted back, my voice miraculously steady. In my bedroom mirror, I stared at my reflection, forcing my breathing to slow. The girl looking back at me wasn't the same one who'd left for Lana's house an hour ago. That girl still had trust left to lose. My phone buzzed. A text from Serenity. Where are my English notes? You promised to help me study. I started typing check your desk when another email notification popped up. From Calden University. I'd applied there months ago, almost as an afterthought. It was further away than Stanford, less prestigious but known for its research programs. I'd never mentioned it to my parents. Dear Jasmine, we are pleased to offer you admission to Calden University's class of 2027 with a full academic scholarship. A laugh bubbled up in my throat, half hysteria and half relief. They couldn't intercept what they didn't know existed. Jasmine, Mom called again. Serenity needs you. I took one last look in the mirror. Coming, I called back, but I wasn't the same daughter anymore. They'd made sure of that. Downstairs, Serenity sprawled across the couch, textbooks untouched beside her. Finally! My head is killing me. Can you just write the outline for me? You're so much better at English anyway. Actually, I said, sitting down, maybe it's time you learn to do this yourself. Mom's head snapped up from her phone. Jasmine, don't be difficult. Your sister isn't feeling well. Is she ever? The words slipped out before I could stop them. Serenity's lower lip trembled. Right on cue. I'm sorry, I backtracked smoothly. Long day. Let me see what you've got so far. Mom relaxed, returning to her phone. Serenity launched into a detailed description of her symptoms, miraculously finding enough energy to complain for 10 straight minutes. I nodded along, but my mind was already racing ahead. The Calden acceptance needed to stay secret. I'd need a new phone, a separate bank account, a plan. Oh, by the way, Mom said casually, Dad and I were thinking, since you'll be staying local, maybe you could take over driving Serenity to her appointments. The medical center is right near the community college. My pencil paused mid-sentence. I haven't applied to any community colleges yet. Don't worry about that, sweetie, Mom smiled. Dad's already picked up some applications. We'll help you fill them out this weekend. The same weekend they'd forged my signature to withdraw from Stanford. That's thoughtful of you, I managed. We just want what's best for everyone, Mom said, reaching over to stroke Serenity's hair. This way, you'll still have time for your own classes while helping your sister. It's perfect. Perfect. Like the forged signature. Like their plans for my future. I'm going to bed, I announced. Early morning tomorrow. But my essay, Serenity protested. You can do it, I said, gathering my things. You're smarter than you think. In my room, I pulled out my phone and opened my email. The called-in acceptance glowed on the screen like a lighthouse in a storm. Full scholarship, housing included, 3 states away. A new message popped up from Lana. Well, I started typing. They forged my signature, rejected Stanford for me. But I have a backup plan they don't know about. Can you come over tomorrow night? I need your help. Her response was immediate. Those bastards, I'm in. Whatever you need. I lay back on my bed, listening to the familiar sounds of my mother cooing over Serenity's latest crisis downstairs. For 16 years, they trained me to be the reliable one, the capable one, the one who needed nothing and gave everything. They never considered that those same qualities might be their undoing. My phone lit up with one final message from Calden University. Please confirm your acceptance by clicking here. I smiled in the darkness and clicked accept. Game on. You're being weird, Serenity announced 3 days later, sprawled across my bed while I folded laundry. Like, extra quiet weird. Just tired, I said, carefully arranging my socks into pairs. Each match set went into a box labeled donation instead of my drawer. Small steps. Mom says you've been avoiding family dinner. I've been studying. Not a lie. I'd been studying bus schedules, housing forms, and how to open a secret bank account. Serenity rolled onto her stomach, watching me with that calculating look she'd perfected over years of getting her way. Remember when we were little, and you used to let me sleep in your bed during thunderstorms? Remember when you told everyone at school I didn't have the personality for elite universities? I kept my voice light, casual. She flinched. That was months ago. I was just repeating what Mom said. My hand stilled on a sweater. What exactly did Mom say? Nothing important. Serenity suddenly found her phone fascinating. Just, that you're better suited for practical things, taking care of people, like me. The sweater crumpled in my grip. Right. Anyway, she continued brightly, want to drive me to my campus tour tomorrow? Mom said you'd love to. Of course she did. Sure. Serenity beamed. You're the best. Maybe afterward we can look at those community college applications Dad got you. I forced a smile. Maybe. Later that night, Lana sat cross-legged on my floor, helping me sort through years of belongings. Keep, donate, trash, she whispered, pointing to different piles. Most of it can go, I said. Calden has furnished dorms. A smart girl. She held up a framed family photo. Trash? Keep evidence. Lana nodded approvingly. How's the secret bank account? Set up last week. I've been depositing my tutoring money slowly. Small amounts won't trigger any notifications on Dad's banking app. And the new phone? I pulled out a basic prepaid model from under my mattress. Activated yesterday. I'll switch everything over the night before. You've thought of everything. Lana paused, holding up my debate team trophy. What about... A knock at my door sent us scrambling. I kicked the boxes under my bed as Mom walked in. Girls, I brought cookies. She set down a plate, eyeing the scattered items. Spring cleaning? Just organizing, I said. You know me. Practical. Mom smiled that soft, patronizing smile I'd grown to hate. That's my responsible girl. Oh, and don't forget, Serenity's campus tour tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp. I remember. After she left, Alana grabbed my arm. 9 a.m.? But that's when we were going to... It's fine, I cut her off. The bank will still be there next week. I can't change my routine too much. The next morning, I drove Serenity to the local community college, listening to her chatter about dorm colors and meal plans. The irony wasn't lost on me. And then maybe you could help me with my assignments, she was saying, since you'll be right here too. Mom says, what if I wasn't? The words slipped out before I could stop them. Serenity's face did something complicated. Wasn't what? Here, right here. What if I went somewhere else? Don't be silly, she laughed, but it sounded forced. You weren't staying here forever, Jazz. Mom and Dad couldn't let that happen. The car swerved slightly as her words hit me. What do you mean, couldn't let that happen? Nothing. I just meant, you know, they need you here. I need you here. She twisted her hands in her lap. Can we stop for coffee? My head hurts. I pulled into the nearest Starbucks, mind racing. Serenity knew. She'd known about Stanford, about their plans, about all of it. The usual, I asked, already knowing her elaborate order by heart. You're the best, she smiled, all traces of discomfort gone. This is why you're so perfect for taking care of people, Jazz. You always know exactly what everyone needs. I ordered her drink and a black coffee for myself, watching her photograph the cup for her Instagram. My phone buzzed, the other one hidden in my jacket pocket. A message from Calden University. Housing assignment confirmed. Ready for the tour? I asked, holding the door for my sister. Ready. She bounced ahead, already talking about which club she might join. I followed more slowly, thinking about that slip. Couldn't let that happen. They'd planned this. All of them. My entire family had conspired to clip my wings before I could fly. But they'd forgotten something crucial. They'd raised me to be independent, capable, and resourceful. They'd raised me to survive without them. And in exactly 23 days, they'd learn exactly what that meant. Graduation day arrived with the subtlety of a circus. Mom spent the morning fussing over Serenity's outfit. You need to look perfect in the family photos, sweetie, while I did my own hair in the bathroom mirror. Don't forget to smile, Mom called through the door. Your father's getting a community board position next week, and appearances matter. Of course they did. That's why she'd picked out my dress. Sensible navy blue, nothing that would draw attention. Perfect for the daughter they wanted everyone to see. My phone buzzed. The real one, hidden in my purse. A message from Calden. Final housing paperwork received. Welcome home. 13 days to go. At the ceremony, I sat between a girl named Hannah and some kid who'd slept through most of senior year. Principal Roberts droned on about futures and possibilities, and I caught my parents beaming at Serenity, already planning her own graduation next year. Jasmine, Principal Roberts called. I walked across the stage, accepted my diploma, and heard the polite applause. From somewhere in the crowd, Lana whooped loudly. At least someone was celebrating. That's my practical girl, Dad said afterward, clapping my shoulder. Now, about that board position, I mentioned how you'll be helping manage Serenity's college transition while taking local classes. They were very impressed with our family values. Were they? I smiled, thinking about the empty bedroom they'd find in less than 2 weeks. Speaking of which, Mom cut in, we should discuss your fall schedule. I've already mapped out Serenity's appointments. Actually, I interrupted, I need to meet Lana. We're celebrating. But the family photos, already got them. I held up my phone, showing the pictures we'd taken before the ceremony. I'm 18 now, Mom. I can manage my own graduation day. I walked away before she could protest, finding Lana by her beat-up Volkswagen. She hugged me tight, then pulled back with a wicked grin. Ready for your graduation present? She handed me an envelope. Inside was a bus ticket. For exactly 13 days from now, leaving at 6 a.m. One way to freedom, she whispered. I'll drive you to the station. My eyes burned. Lana, don't you dare cry. You'll mess up your makeup, and then they'll know something's up. She squeezed my hand. Come on, let's get ice cream, one last time. At our favorite shop, sitting with our feet dangling off the tailgate of Lana's car, I watched families pass by. Happy graduates taking photos, parents hugging their kids, genuine pride shining on their faces. Your dad called my mom, Lana said suddenly, asked if she knew of any apartment rentals near the community college. I nearly choked on my ice cream. He what? They're really going all in on this plan of theirs. She licked her spoon thoughtfully. Oh, and get this. They're already advertising your room for rent. My cousin saw the listing. The ice cream turned to ash in my mouth. They're renting out my room? I haven't even applied to their precious community college yet. Because they think they've got you trapped. Lana's voice hardened. Which is exactly why you need to get out. My phone, the family one, buzzed. Serenity, where are you? Mom's freaking out. We're supposed to have graduation dinner. Speaking of trapped, I muttered, showing Lana the text. 13 more days. She reminded me. You can do anything for 13 days. Back home, Mom had outdone herself. The dining room sparkled with decorations, all centered around Serenity's favorite foods. My diploma sat propped against a vase, almost an afterthought. There you are, Mom exclaimed. We were about to start without you. Sit, sit. Your father has news. Dad stood raising his glass. As you know, I've been nominated for the community board, and today they made it official. They were particularly impressed by our family stability, how we support each other, how we stay together. To family, Mom beamed, lifting her glass. To family, everyone echoed. I pressed my lips to the glass without drinking. And speaking of support, Dad continued, we've had an interesting opportunity come up. The Andersons are looking for a room to rent for their son while he attends community college. Since Jasmine will be sharing with Serenity anyway, the glass nearly slipped from my hand. Sharing? Well, of course, honey. Mom's smile didn't reach her eyes. Serenity needs you close by. We've already started moving your things. They'd been in my room. My heart stopped. I already picked which side of the room I want, Serenity chirped. The left side has better lighting for my morning yoga. I forced myself to breathe. The important things were at Lana's. The bus ticket was safe. 13 days. That's thoughtful of you, I managed. We're so proud of how mature you're being, Mom said. This is exactly why we know you'll do wonderfully at community college. I smiled and nodded, already counting the hours until they'd learned just how mature I could be. 8 days until freedom, and Serenity was having a meltdown. You promised to help with my summer reading, she wailed, sprawled across our bedroom floor. I can't understand Shakespeare alone. You managed to understand those college application instructions just fine, I said, continuing to fold the clothes I'd forgotten to put away. Each piece would go to Lana's tonight, joining the growing pile of my escape supplies. That's different. This is hard. She threw her copy of Macbeth across the room. You're being mean lately. Mom says you're probably just stressed about community college. I picked up the book. Maybe you should try actually reading it instead of waiting for me to explain everything. But I won't always be here to help, Serenity. She sat up, eyes narrowing. Yes, you will. That's the whole point. The air between us crackled with something dangerous. Before I could respond, Mom appeared in the doorway. Girls! I heard raised voices. Her smile was tight. Jasmine, why don't you help your sister? You've always been so good at explaining things. Actually, I said, I have plans with Lana. Again? Mom's smile slipped. You've been out almost every night this week. Serenity needs... I'm 18, I cut in. I'm allowed to see my friends. Of course you are, sweetie. Mom's voice dripped honey. But family should come first. Right, Serenity? Serenity nodded, lower lip trembling right on cue. I'll help tomorrow, I lied, grabbing my bag. The one with 3 more boxes of my life packed inside, ready for transport to Lana's garage. You're different, Serenity called after me. Ever since graduation, you're different. I paused at the door. Maybe I'm just finally being myself. At Lana's house, we added the new boxes to the growing pile. 1 more load tomorrow, she said, and you'll be done. Just in time. They're getting suspicious. I sat on a box labeled winter clothes. Mom's watching me like a hawk, and Serenity keeps making these comments. 7 more days, Lana reminded me. Stay smart. Stay quiet. My phone buzzed, the family one. Dad. Coming home soon? Need to discuss community college orientation. Picked up your registration forms today. They're really pushing this college thing, I showed Lana the text. Dad's been bringing home brochures. Mom's planning my schedule. Because their perfect little plan is almost complete. Lana's voice hardened. The dutiful daughter, staying home forever, as Serenity's personal assistant. Another buzz. Mom this time. Serenity's having anxiety about her reading. Please come home. Go, Lana said. Keep playing their game. But first, she handed me an envelope. Your new bank card came. I had it sent here, just in case. Back home, I found Serenity in our room, still pouting over Macbeth. Finally, she huffed. I've been waiting forever. Mom says you need to help me understand Act 1 tonight. I sat on my stripped-down bed, now pushed against the wall to make room for Serenity's expanding territory. What don't you understand? Everything. Like, why does Lady Macbeth have to be so mean? Why can't she just support her husband without all the manipulation? I almost laughed at the irony. Sometimes people manipulate others because they think they know what's best for them, but it ruins everything. Serenity flopped back dramatically. Oh, did you see? Mom moved your college acceptance letters box to the garage. She said we needed the shelf space. My heart stopped. What box? The one with all your rejection letters. Though I only saw Stanford in there. She trailed off, suddenly very interested in her phone. I waited until midnight before sneaking to the garage. The box was there, tucked behind Dad's golf clubs. Inside, under the Stanford rejection, lay a stack of unopened envelopes from other universities. More acceptances they'd hidden, more futures they'd stolen. My hands shook as I photographed everything, then carefully returned the box. Evidence. All of it. Back in my room, Serenity's gentle snores filled the air as I checked my secret phone. A message from Calden University. Student orientation materials dispatched. Track your package here. I'd had them sent to Lana's address, of course. Another buzz. Dad in the family group chat. Great news. The Andersons are signing the rental agreement tomorrow. Jasmine, we'll need to finish moving your things to Serenity's room this weekend. Mom replied instantly, perfect timing, just in time for community college orientation next week. I turned off the phone and lay in my stripped-down bed, listening to Serenity mumble in her sleep. 7 more days until they learned what real manipulation looked like. 7 days until they realized they'd taught me too well. The night before everything changed, Mom decided to have a family dinner. To celebrate new beginnings, she said, setting out the good china. I watched her arrange the silverware, remembering all the time she taught me the proper way to set a table. A lady always knows how to make others comfortable, she'd say, while Serenity played video games upstairs. Need help? I asked, knowing the answer. No, sweetie, you've done enough. She smiled that familiar, dismissive smile. Though you could check on Serenity, she's been awfully quiet. Of course. I climbed the stairs one last time, each step feeling heavier than the last. My room, what was left of it, looked like a war zone. Serenity's things had exploded across both sides, leaving only my bare mattress and empty dresser as evidence I'd ever lived there. Mom wants to know if you're okay, I said from the doorway. Serenity lay sprawled across her bed, scrolling through TikTok. I'm fine, just tired. Will you bring my dinner up? No. She looked up, startled by my tone. What? I said no, get it yourself. But I don't feel well. You never do. Something flickered across her face. Fear, maybe? Or recognition. Why are you being like this? Like what? Independent? Capable? Isn't that what they raised me to be? She sat up slowly. Jazz. Dinner's in 10 minutes. I turned away, but her voice stopped me. You're planning something, aren't you? I didn't answer. Downstairs, Dad was practicing his community board speech while Mom fussed with the centerpiece. Perfect timing, he beamed. I want to run something by you. Can't wait, I said, helping Mom carry dishes to the table. I've been thinking about your schedule this fall, he continued. If you take morning classes, you'll be free to drive Serenity in the afternoons. The board was very impressed with our family's commitment to supporting each other. Were they? They were. In fact, he launched into another speech about family values and community spirit, not noticing how I'd stopped listening. My phone buzzed in my pocket. The secret one. Lana, everything's ready. You sure about this? I typed back quickly. No choice now. They're renting my room starting tomorrow. Serenity, Mom called up the stairs. Dinner. I don't feel well, came the predictable response. Mom sighed. Jasmine, would you? No. The word hung in the air like a thunderclap. Excuse me. Dad's speech forgotten, he stared at me. I said no. She can come down herself. Mom's laugh was nervous. Don't be difficult, sweetie. You know your sister. Needs me, I finished. Like she needed me to give up Stanford? The silence that followed was deafening. What are you talking about? Dad's voice had gone dangerously quiet. I pulled out the envelope I'd prepared and placed it on the table. For you. Mom reached for it with trembling hands. Inside were copies of everything. The Stanford acceptance, the forged withdrawal, the hidden letters from other universities, and on top, my acceptance and full scholarship to Calden University. What is this? She whispered. This, I said, standing up, is goodbye. Dad's face turned red. Sit down. Now. No. We did what was best for this family. Mom's voice cracked. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You needed someone to take care of Serenity, to give up their life so she wouldn't have to face hers. That's not... You forged my signature, I cut in. You hid my acceptance letters. You planned my entire future without asking me, because it was easier than admitting Serenity needs to grow up. Footsteps on the stairs. Serenity had finally emerged, drawn by the raised voices. What's going on? Your sister is being selfish, Dad snapped. I laughed, actually laughed. Selfish? You stole my future. You lied to me. You raised me to be independent and capable, then punished me for being exactly what you made me. Where are you going? Serenity's voice was small. Away. Far away. To become the person you all tried to stop me from being. Mom stood up, reaching for me. You can't. I already have. I stepped back toward the door where my last bag waited. My room's already empty. Has been for days. The only things left are what you wanted to see. You're lying, Dad said, but his eyes darted toward the stairs. Check if you want, but first... I pulled out my phone, the family one, and placed it next to the envelope. You won't need to reach me on this anymore. I walked out as the chaos erupted behind me, Serenity's wails mixing with Mom's pleas and Dad's angry shouts. On the porch, Lana waited in her car, engine running. Freedom was 6 hours away. Jasmine, stop! Serenity's voice cut through the night air as I reached for Lana's car door. You can't just leave. I turned slowly. My sister stood on the porch in her pajamas, tears streaming down her face. Behind her, Mom gripped the doorframe while Dad thundered down the steps. You're making a terrible mistake, he growled. Get back inside. Now. Or what? My voice was steady. You'll forge my signature again? Hide more of my mail? We did that to protect you. No. I shook my head. You did it to protect her. I nodded toward Serenity. To keep your perfect family image intact. The devoted daughter sacrificing everything for her sick sister. That's not fair, Mom whispered. Fair? I laughed. Was it fair when you threw away my UCLA forms? When you told everyone I wasn't suited for top universities? When you rented out my room before even telling me your plans? Serenity stepped forward. But you're supposed to help me. I can't do college without you. Yes, you can. You just never had to try. You're being cruel, Mom said, but her voice wavered. Cruel? I pulled out my phone, the new one, and held it up. Should I show everyone the group chat where you and Dad planned how to sabotage my college applications? Or maybe the emails to Stanford withdrawing my acceptance without my knowledge? Dad's face went pale. How did you? I learned from the best. I cut him off. You taught me to be thorough, organized, responsible. Remember? A car door slammed behind me, Lana getting out to stand by my side. You have 2 minutes, she told my parents. Then we're leaving. This is ridiculous, Dad sputtered. You're barely 18. You can't just... I can. I'm legally an adult, with a full scholarship and housing waiting for me. Everything's already arranged. But what about me? Serenity wailed. What about my appointments, my classes? What about them? You're 16, not 6. Learn to use a bus schedule. Set your own alarm. Write your own essays. I'll call the police, Dad threatened. Lana snorted. And tell them what? That your adult daughter accepted a college scholarship? That she caught you committing mail fraud? Mom started crying then. Those quiet, manipulative tears I'd seen so many times before. We only wanted to keep our family together. No, I said softly. You wanted to keep your convenient arrangement together. The responsible daughter taking care of the helpless one. But you forgot something important. What's that? Dad demanded. You raised me to be strong, independent, capable. I stepped back toward the car. Everything you're afraid Serenity will never be. You lied to us, Serenity screamed suddenly. Sneaking around, hiding things. You mean like hiding my acceptance letters? Or forging my signature? I met her eyes. I learned deception at home, Serenity. Right here in this family. Please, Mom tried one last time. We can talk about this. Make a plan that works for everyone. No, I opened Lana's car door. You had 18 years to make plans that included what I wanted. Instead, you planned my life around her needs. Now I'm making my own plans. If you leave, Dad's voice turned hard, don't expect our support. Ever. I smiled then and saw him flinch at the expression. I never had it to begin with. Serenity rushed forward suddenly, grabbing my arm. You can't abandon me. I'm your sister. I gently removed her hand. And you've always had everything, but you never learned how to keep it. The look of shock on her face was almost worth 18 years of playing second fiddle. Let's go, I told Lana, sliding into the passenger seat. As we pulled away, I watched in the side mirror as my family became smaller and smaller. Mom collapsed against Dad. Serenity stood frozen on the lawn, and their perfect image of control shattered into pieces. You okay? Lana asked quietly. No, I answered honestly. But I will be. My phone started buzzing. My parents trying the new number already. I turned it off without reading the messages. They'd have plenty of time to realize what they'd lost. The bus station? Lana asked, turning onto the main road. The bus station, I confirmed. And Lana, thank you for everything. She reached over and squeezed my hand. That's what real family does. Behind us, my childhood home disappeared into the darkness. Ahead lay 6 hours on a bus, then a new life 3 states away. A life where I wasn't someone's backup plan or built-in caretaker. A life that was finally completely mine. The autumn breeze carried the sound of laughter across Calden University's quad as I walked to my morning class. My phone buzzed. Lana's daily check-in. How's my favorite escapee? Living my best revenge. Succeeding, I typed back. Another message popped up. This one from Mom. Serenity failed her midterms. She needs you. Please come home. I added it to the folder of screenshots labeled consequences without responding. They'd sent hundreds of messages since I'd left. First angry, then pleading, now desperate. Hey, Jasmine! Caden jogged up beside me, his laptop tucked under his arm. Ready to destroy Professor Martinez's research project? I grinned. My academic rival turned friend had become an unexpected ally in my new life. Born ready. Did you finish the statistical analysis? Hours ago. We're going to blow the other teams away. Inside the research lab, our presentation materials were already set up. This was my element now, not being someone's crutch, but pushing boundaries, challenging minds, building a future. My phone buzzed again. Dad this time. The board position fell through. Your mother's having anxiety attacks. Is this what you wanted? Everything okay? Caden asked, noticing my expression. Just karma doing its job, I said, putting the phone away. After class, I found an email from Serenity. I hate you. Mom and Dad are fighting all the time. Dad lost his position because people found out about the mail fraud. Everything's falling apart, and it's your fault. I started typing, no, it's falling apart because, but deleted it. They needed to learn these lessons without me. My new phone lit up. Lana again. You should know. Serenity's struggling bad. Like, might not graduate bad. Your mom's been calling my mom crying about it. Not my problem anymore, I replied. I know. Just thought you'd want to see your handiwork. Turns out little sister can't function without her backup brain. I was still staring at the message when Caden dropped into the seat across from me in the library. Earth to Jasmine. Project celebration dinner? Sorry, family drama. The ones who forged your signature? His eyes narrowed. Want me to hack their emails? I laughed. No need. They're doing just fine destroying themselves. Good. He pushed a coffee toward me. Because you've got better things to focus on. Like how Professor Martinez wants us to present our research at the national conference. My heart jumped. What? Just got the email. We're going to Washington, baby. First freshman ever selected. I grabbed my phone, started to share the news, then stopped. My achievements weren't family property anymore. Instead, I texted Lana, guess who's presenting at nationals? Her response was immediate. Queen, show them what they lost. Later that night, alone in my dorm room, I opened my laptop to find an email from Mom. I understand now. What we did was wrong. Your father's pride destroyed everything. Serenity's therapist says we enabled her dependency. We're all in family counseling. I don't expect forgiveness, but I want you to know. You were right to leave. For the first time since walking out, tears pricked my eyes. My phone rang. Lana's ringtone. Hey, did you see Mom's email? Yeah. Are you okay? I looked around my room, at my research papers, my conference acceptance letter, the life I'd built from scratch. I'm better than okay. I'm free. They're learning the hard way, Lana said softly. Good. I wiped my eyes. That's the only way they ever would. A knock at my door. Caden with takeout and project notes. Study session? Always, I called back. Lana, I gotta go. Real life awaits. Go get him, girl. I let Caden in, spreading our materials across my desk. Ready to change the world? With you? Definitely. My phone buzzed one last time. Serenity. I get it now. Why you left. I'm sorry I was part of it. I'm learning to do things myself. It's hard, but I think I needed this. I showed Caden the message. Think I should respond? He considered it carefully. Depends. Are you ready to be heard instead of just used? Maybe. I started typing. Learning to stand alone isn't easy, but it's worth it. Trust me, I know. Then I turned off my phone and turned to my work. My real work, not the emotional labor they trained me for. Outside my window, the campus lights twinkled like stars, each one a possibility they'd tried to deny me. They'd wanted to clip my wings to keep their nest intact. Instead, they taught me how to soar. And from up here, the view was perfect.